He left?
Yeah, he got all paranoid and then he freaked out on me. And then he just got in a cab and left his phone. Wait, you haven't seen him?
No, he never came back here.
Oh my God.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the movie calendar. My name is Lee.
And my name is Terrence.
And this week we're going to be talking all about Jordan Peele's Get Out. And if you're wondering why there was so much emphasis on the Peele then, we literally just started. This is take 2. We just started and I got Jordan Peele's name wrong, so I called him Jordan Peele. So I'm so sorry for that.
Lee stuffed it up.
I was thinking, oh my goodness, my brain is fried. I was thinking a few moves ahead on what I wanted to say, and it hit me so early. So this could be a fun one.
Well, I'm glad we restarted again because the whole point of restarting is so that we can do it without the mistake. But in the restart, we've actually highlighted the mistake by going over the mistake and taking even longer.
And making another mistake. We're not going back.
Yeah.
The show must go on.
Yep. We get one chance at a restart, and it only happens in the first 10 seconds after the beginning.
Yeah, if we stuff it up, then we can start again. But we only get to do that once because time is precious, and we've both got lives to lead, and we have to go to sleep.
Sleep is good. Sleep is good. Speaking of sleep, I want to say nothing to do with sleep. Look, I've had a haircut. I'm taking my headphones off.
Any excuse.
Look at all the grey.
So for anybody who is just listening to us on their favourite podcast app of choice, Terrence is showing us the fresh new haircut that he's got. He has had his ears lowered, and it actually looks quite fresh. That'll be me next week. I've actually booked in to get a haircut in 2 days' time. So next time we record, I'll have a nice fresh cut as well.
Oh, I can't wait, Lee. I can't wait to see you'll be able to run so much faster.
Yeah, let me just say right now, I'll probably be able to keep my ego in check a little bit more than you did and not have to show it off to our loyal 4 or 5 viewers that we have.
They all appreciate it, every single one of them, and rewind the tape and watch it again. The tape, the YouTube, this. Okay, just keep going.
These jokes are just awful with people just listening to it in audio. No.
Sorry, everyone. Skip ahead. Skip ahead.
Yeah, there's if you're new here and because you're like, oh wow, let's listen to these two white guys talk about Get Out. That sounds like a good fun time. You're actually in for a real treat. We have been wanting to talk about this film for so long. We announced it months ago, about a month and a half ago, that we were going to do this to give people preparation time to be able to see it. And I think that was worth doing. Terrence, you got to see it a little while ago for the first time, was it?
Yeah, it was for the first time, and after watching it, I was so... I've anticipated this film to be something really different to what I would have ever seen. So, yeah, I watched it earlier on, and I thought, wow, I'm not going to watch it again. I'll just speak about it in terms of my reaction and go with my initial gut. And then my gut reaction kind of... what's it called? Weakened as time went on. I started to forget key things.
Yeah,
I started to forget key things. So I actually watched it a second time, and
good.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. And also part of the reason I thought not to watch it a second time was that I'll watch it when the day comes around on the movie calendar. So I didn't want to spoil it for the next time I watch it, but I didn't spoil it at all. I didn't spoil it at all. I am going to gladly watch this a third time. Probably even before it comes around again. There was so much in this, and for me, it was quite satisfying. It was just a different story altogether as well. I mean, from the trailers, you pretty much get the main gist of it. You don't get every little... You don't get the height of what happens.
As deep as it goes,
but, yeah, exactly. The depth of it, you don't realize. But... the main premise. So you're always looking out for it. As they drive in, the groundskeeper, he's one. Okay, there's another one.
This is a really interesting point, and we might sort of jump on this sooner rather than later, because I know that there are a few people who do watch and do listen who haven't seen the films just because they want to kind of watch a little bit of banter with us, and that's completely fine. However, in that instance, if you're not a horror fan or there's some reason that has stopped you from watching this film before you've gotten to listening to us right now, Just stop right now. Figure out how you can get your eyes and ears around this movie. If you're not into horror, I mean, it's not a bad jumping off point. Like, it's not
I wouldn't
too
class this
bad.
as a horror film.
Yeah, it's more of a thriller. There's a little bit of blood and gore, but not too much. It's all done in service of the story. It's not just there to be overtly disgusting. But yeah, it's very much more psychological. Not too many jump scares, and yeah, it's just the storytelling on display here is amazing. There is a reason why this film won best original screenplay at the Oscars the year after it came out. It is just stunning. I mean, you're going to get into all of that, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, consider this your massive spoiler warning. You have been warned. We're going to press on as if you have seen it now.
Yeah, and when I said, the groundskeeper, I was faking you out. It has nothing to do with it. I knew we didn't give the spoiler warning yet, so I just wanted to
No,
see
it's fine.
If you'd buy it, there's no.
Honestly, that would be more
in this.
titillating now if people hadn't seen it. To be like, oh, now they'll be watching it with the groundskeeper going, oh, I'm watching out for you. Who are you? What are you doing? And
red herring.
We all know. So that's good. Do you have anything else that you want to get through, Terrence, before we jump in? This is going to be a big episode, so...
No, do you want to, just the cast, who's the main cast in this?
Let's do it. Let's get straight in. So we are here right now, episode 21. Does that mean the podcast is old enough to drink in the US? Is that how that works?
We've been drinking already for 3 years. A few more if you weren't a law-abiding citizen in Australia. Yep.
Yeah. Teenage drinking is not a big problem in Australia at all.
It's not good.
No.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
But
no, we're here, episode
18.
21 for Jordan Peele's Get Out. Written and directed by him, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Alison Williams, Bradley Whitford, Catherine Keener, Caleb Landry Jones, and Lil Rel Howery. Howery, sorry. I added an extra L in there.
Howery, that's another one. I read it out earlier and Lee corrected me. I said his name wrong. I think I said Lil Ray.
Yep.
Yeah, Lil Rel.
Yeah, you did
said
too.
it wrong. And now this is comedy of errors. Here we go.
We are in. So if you have pressed on, you haven't seen the film, you want to listen to this, that's completely fine, kind of. No, don't stop. Go and watch it. I'll give you a bit of a synopsis. So the story is of Chris and his girlfriend Rose. They go upstate to meet her parents just for the weekend. At first, Chris reads the family's over-friendly behaviour as nervous compensation for their daughter's interracial relationship. But as the weekend continues on, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries lead Chris to a truth that he could never have imagined.
Yes, and that's
kind of all you want to know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that's pretty much what the trailers portray. You're ready for this. And the imagery that they give in the trailers, I think it was a good choice to use all these weird facial expressions in the trailer. That was enough to pique my interest and to realize that this was actually a different style of story that I was going to see. Yeah, I'm not much of a horror buff. I watch the occasional schlock horror, and I do confess the zombie films are a thing that I do not mind indulging in every now and then, but
I've got a couple of films to recommend to you. One of which, straight off the top of my head, is going to go on the calendar. We'll probably talk about it in October next year. But
cool.
Yeah,
well, I have one as well, which will go on the calendar too. But yeah, I'm a big Walking Dead fan, that kind of stuff. So yeah, but really cool. I loved also Catherine Keener.
Yeah,
I always want to say her name wrong as well. Catherine Keener. I've really adored everything I've seen her in. From, I think the first thing I saw her in was being John Malkovich. So it was really cool to see her in this role. She kind of plays this powerful matriarch she's powerful in other things that I've seen her in as well. But that was really cool to see her in this.
Yeah, her and Bradley Whitford, like they're dynamic together, and it's just like, who do you cast when you're casting for parents where you're... And Jordan Peele talks about this I listened to the director's commentary this week in the lead up to recording this episode, and he talks about, I needed to get actors who, as soon as they arrived on screen, you'd have this like wash of relief come over you, being like, it's these two lovely people, like they're not racist, this is going to be fine.
Yeah, and they're really relatable as well. I think
Yeah.
he did a good job choosing them in that respect, because there's this immediate comfort, and I think that there is, you said it well in your synopsis there, that there's nearly an over-hamming it up as they walk in, which we find out absolutely is the case. Unwittingly to them, they think they're being all normal and uber cool and colorblind,
Yeah.
But it is so sickly spread on. You realize this at the end.
I was so sad, and if you're wondering why I was kind of very overzealous on getting people to you have to see this film before you know about it, it's because, and I'm going to confess something here, this film was spoiled for me before I got to see it.
Oh, that sucks.
Now, a lot of that is my fault. I was seeking it out. So this movie had come out, it had a lot of buzz around it, and I'm not the horror person, right? As we all know, as we've learned during this podcast, you wouldn't think of it looking at the filmography that we've got on the calendar so far. But genuinely, I wasn't that person. It's only in the last couple of years that helped shape that. And it was this film that helped me dive into horror a lot more over the last couple of years. But yeah, it came out. It was getting a lot of Oscar buzz and doing really well. And so I listened to a spoiler podcast on the entire film. And I was just like, oh, what have I done? This sounds really cool. But then I had the added benefit of then when I did sit down to watch it with a friend of mine who had never seen it and had no idea about it, I got to watch it through the lens of I know what's happening. And they got to watch it through the lens of they had no idea what was happening. Yeah. And so we were essentially watching two completely different films. Which, this film falls into the category of films that are Fight Club and I don't want to spoil too many films here, but like The Sixth Sense, where it becomes a different movie when you've seen it a second time around. It is a completely different film.
Yeah, there are drops of information all throughout that help guide the story on a subconscious level if you're not aware of it. But then when you do go and rewatch it, you pick all these things up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You're like, how did I not see all these things? It is so obvious that this is what's happening, but your brain is just switched off to it because, it's a piece of cinema, it's fiction. You get lost in this world and then, it hits you. This film hits you so hard.
So, Jordan Peele, known for his comedy, Key and Peele.
Yep.
I've got to confess something here. I've never really seen any of their stuff.
Very American kind of humor. We didn't get a whole lot of it here in Australia.
Yeah, they're not really household names for us unless you're looking at a lot of US content and seeking it out. But to realize that he's come from this comedy background was just beautiful. Just beautiful to see his capabilities here. And then he's followed it up. Us is another one of his, right?
Yeah.
That is equally freaky and probably even more so. That one I think looks more horror. And
yes.
I'm not keen on seeing that either.
You should. It's a good film.
Oh, I think Paranormal Activity kind of thing freaks me out, and I feel that that's got that in it. But he has to be applauded, and he was with an Academy Award, right? So it was so
which was
refreshing.
Huge. I really want to talk about that because that was massive that he got that.
Yeah. What did he got it for? Best
original screenplay, yeah.
Okay.
Which, for a genre film to get it in the first place is a miracle in and of itself. The Academy just doesn't do that. And two, another thing going against it is the movie came out in February, the year that it came out, which was 2017, I think. And for a film to come out that early in the year and then have the staying power to go throughout the whole year, and then it was essentially 12 months later that the Oscars were on. Normally they've forgotten about films that came out that long ago. That's why a lot of the Oscar baity kind of movies come out in November, December, because they're in the public consciousness enough, and they're talked about so much that when people are voting, it's like, oh, I recognize that name.
Yeah, okay.
But this one just had so much staying power because of how good it is, and absolutely deserved to win the award. So I was happy to see him on stage.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. The storytelling was really cool. You know, there was so much metaphor in this, and what a way for him to. I'm guessing this was it was his little baby, obviously. Did he wrote the screenplay? Did he write the film as well?
Yeah. Well, the screenplay is the film.
So, you know, I see this as a really clear voice of his on the social commentary of, you know, a life that he's lived and a life that many coloured people have lived in this world, and that this kind of way to sensationalize an idea, to talk about this brain swapping scenario as being just a paranoid delusion is a really cool take on it. Really cool take.
It's interesting. He talks about it a lot in the commentary. I'm gonna say those words a lot. Just forewarning, if you want to make a drinking game out of this episode, it's how many times does Lee say director's commentary? Because I've written so many notes from it. It's one of those ones. Sometimes director's commentaries are really good, and sometimes they're maybe not so much. This is a great one. Like, if you can seek it out, if you can get the Blu-ray or the DVD, I own it digitally, and the digital copy that I have has it on there, which is marvelous. So yeah, seek it out if you can, because you just learn so much. He, at the end of the commentary, he says, I was going to go either like one of two ways about it. I was either going to do the real mysterious, kind of Stanley Kubrick-esque, do I just not tell everyone what happened so they can figure it out for themselves over the next 40 years of discussing it? Or do I just completely nerd out and just like word vomit everything out that I know in my head about the film? And he was thinking, if I was to listen to a commentary of a film, which one would I prefer? And he's like, I would much prefer the nerding out one, because then I learned something. So that's what I went with. So he just nerds out about his own film.
Wow.
In the commentary, it's so nice for a filmmaker to be so candid about their work. He holds back on some things to do with the lore of the world, but other things is just he's straight up.
Okay, cool. And when you say the lore of the world, is that similar to the idea of when you watch a time traveling movie, the whole getting caught up in that, like going through the detail? What do you mean?
More, when I say lore of the world, it's kind of like the world building.
Yeah.
World building. So in this one, like there is a world building backstory to this Armitage family and how they got to do what they do, and what's their lineage, and all of the people who come to the party, like what's their place in it all, and they're all part of this kind of secret society, which I'm really keen to get into all of that in a sec, because there's
cult, right?
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in there that I wanna touch on. But I think something that we should talk about, that I know you really want to talk about, is the characters.
Yeah, let's do that, and then let's get into that stuff. Let's get into the story,
all right,
and the coolness of it.
Cool.
All right, so story, Daniel's character,
Kaluuya?
Chris.
Yes.
All right, I call him Daniel. We're good mates. We go back. We go way back to when I watched Black Panther. It's a one-way relationship while I was watching him.
In Black Panther?
He knew. So, all right. So Chris's character, he is in this relationship, and I guess we come into it when, he... There's a fly here. What is going on?
I didn't know. I had no idea what you were doing.
Yeah, sorry. And it picks up on the point where they're just about to meet the parents, and we realize, okay, her parents don't know that I'm black. All right, so this is where we find out. And I think, I don't know, I was trying to come up with an idea of who he was, and he seems very aware of his surroundings. He's got a couple of vices. He smokes, or at least it's used against him.
That's such a clever thing.
He's got the, the trauma of a child who's lost his mother, and he also seems
and the
to
guilt.
be like,
he's got the guilt around that too.
He carries this guilt, which is pivotal in how he becomes hypnotized, and what he does later on in the film with Grandma. And that's the relevance of the deer scene. That was also the thing where I didn't realize what's going on there.
It's all connected. It's so clever.
So there's that. And then I got an edge that he's a jealous guy, but I couldn't put my finger on it if he was actually jealous or if that was something that Rose was trying to implant on him to kind of be able to control him a little bit.
No, you're right. I think he's just a jealous guy.
Jealous guy.
It's quite a new relationship. Like they've been together for 4 months, which is like a good amount of time, but like not long. It's not like years and years.
Yeah.
So it's been 4 months. He is in love. Like he realizes it when he's there with the family, and he kind of sees how woke she is to his troubles, and how she's not like her family. And God, he has no idea. This poor guy.
Oh my God. But he's also quite self-assured. Like he's pretty cocky. Like when the scene where the grandma, I can't remember their names, the two servants in the house.
Is Georgina.
And then it's Walter, isn't it?
Walter is the grandfather. Groundskeeper.
Groundskeeper Walter. He's not Scottish. What am I talking about? Yes, when he talks with her in the room about her unplugging the phone, and he's like, I'm just saying it's a thing, women swoon over me. I just thought, come on, what is this? I didn't like that character flaw. I didn't like it. It was nearly unnecessary that they had that written in to him.
I think he was more making a comment about because she's also black. And because he's like, look, it's a thing. Like she might not like that you're with me because you're white. That's what I got from it anyway.
All right, yeah,
So right. It wasn't. I don't think it was a cocky thing. I think it was more of a, hey, like this is just a thing that you might not know about.
Oh, all right, okay. Well, look, I saw him as that, but then there was this other side where he's a photographer, right? It's a professional photographer, and through his photography, he's able to see things through an objective lens, and he uses that to see the world in a different way. And we see his photos in his apartment at the beginning, right? I was trying to think about how to analyze these photos, and they're black and white, which again is the whole metaphor for the whole thing. And there's a dove who is silhouetted, so it's a black dove and flying free. All this imagery, and a child in a mask, and pregnant lady, all these things. But he uses his camera to distance himself from reality, which is what a lot of photographers are able to do. And he does it at the party. It's another one of his
vices.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. He does it at the party. He uses it to look at the world through that lens. He hides behind it. But I think it's because of that he is able to become sensitive to these weirdnesses that are happening as well. You could easily see Rose's other partners coming in and having a great time and thinking, wow, these guys are really nice. Why are they feeling my muscles though? That's a bit weird, but hey, I don't mind.
It's so creepy, especially on the second time around. Like you're watching them like, oh my God, they're literally like looking at him like he's a piece of cattle.
They are shopping. Yeah.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
This is a stud ranch.
It's so good. But no, I love Chris. I think his backstory and character development are just so wonderful. Daniel Kaluuya just knocks it out of the park with this role. Like you'd have no idea that he's British, would you?
What? No. Not at all.
So you listen to him speak with his native British accent. Cool. And it's just like it's a sight to behold. He's in a Black Mirror episode, I think one of the really early ones.
Yeah.
Check that one out. It's a really good one.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you picture him? He was on the bike. It was the one where they were all riding the bike.
They're riding the bikes. They're in that cyber world.
That's him. Yeah.
Wow.
Mind blown.
That's cool. That's cool.
He's good. He's an excellent performer. Lots more to come from him. He's going to be... I mean, he's already huge, but he's going to be a star. Can't wait to see more from him. Who do you want to talk about next?
Well, let's talk about Rose. I do like, however, when you said Rose seems so woke to everything, how in the opening introduction of Chris, where they're in his apartment, Childish Gambino, Redbone is playing. Oh,
if you don't have that song on every playlist that you have, put it on there. It is so good.
It got old for me after a little while, but I've had a break from it. So every now and then. Yeah, because I had it in every playlist. So I stopped playing it, but this movie kind of actually reignited my liking of the song. But,
It's brilliant.
Nice choice.
It's perfect for the film.
Perfect for it. The shaving scene.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
You're going to get to that?
I've got a
All right,
whole
good.
section
Let's
called
go to Rose.
Foreshadowing.
Well, let's go to Rose. Oh,
Let's talk
Foreshadowing.
about
Yes,
Rose.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Rose. Go for it. You talk about Rose first. I talked a lot about
Rose
Chris.
is just like Chris is a great character. Rose is just on another level. Like the complexity in this writing and this performance is just almost unachievable in a genre film like this. It's on another level of I can't even think of the word. I had a word in my head and it's completely gone. It's showing off. It's almost too complex.
Another stratosphere.
It's wonderful. She is so good, and Alison Williams is so lovable as Rose, and so terrifying as Jordan Peele calls her two separate characters. So Rose is the love interest, and Roro is the psychopath and the sociopath. So when she goes into Roro mode, just be somewhere else, because she's just haunting. It's awful. The scene where she's on the phone to Rod and she's just not moving, but her voice is
totally
projecting
animated.
Like projecting that Rose voice but in the Roro body.
Sounding really worried.
Yeah, and Jordan Peele says that he gave her that direction. He's like, I've got something that I want you to do, but I don't know if it's actually possible. Do you want to give it a go? And she's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And he's like, yeah, can you be Roro but be on the phone as Rose? And she was like, I got it. And she just nailed it, and it's terrifying.
So cool. Her body language, she's just so stoic, right? And she's wearing this white turtleneck.
Yeah.
And like that last part of the whole film, she's in that turtleneck, and that's when she's Roro, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, if you go back and watch the film again, which I know everybody will, on a date to be determined very soon, is that the scene where she's on the stairs and she's fumbling for the keys, yeah, and right. Terrence has just covered his face with his hand. And then she's just like, yeah. I was like, I can't find them. I don't know what to do. And then just holds them up. I can't give you the keys, right, babe? If you watch that scene again, as soon as Chris drops all of his stuff and he's just like, oh god, that was my last hope of it. She immediately puts her hair back up in the ponytail immediately.
Wow!
Like the ruse has been broken. And
costume
so she
change.
just straight up, she's in the hair, and so she just the way that her body moves after that scene, is just terrible. She completely changes. But no, the way that her character is written, where it could have been so easy for her to just constantly be defending Chris to a point where you're like, this is suspicious. But it's not. She will actively be joking around when he's like, oh, I think Georgina's into me. And she's like, oh, really? Because you're super stud sexy, and like starts ribbing him. She could have very easily have just been like, oh gosh, oh no, you think so? You're probably right. And like trying to appeal to him. And then you just become suspicious of her. So yeah, everything that she does is so meticulous and awful.
When did you become suspicious of her?
I didn't until no, I knew.
Well, you knew, right? Yeah, but still the little nuances of how a character is going to act, and I guess you did know all
I knew,
along.
so it was tough. Like I asked who I watched it with, and they were like, and the person that I watched it with is a person of color, and they suspected nothing, absolutely nothing, until he got into that house, and then it was like, hey Chris, what's your purpose? Like up until that point, they were just like, yeah, this is how just certain white people act around people of color. Like it's just a thing. Like they're just weird. They just don't know what to do, and all of the microaggressions of even the dad, being like, how long's this thing been happening? Like saying thang and like, all those little microaggressions.
Made me do a little vomit burp when he said that. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So you're better than
and the
that,
whole-
Bradley Whitford.
The whole little I would have voted for Obama a third time, and all of those little.
It's so gross.
Yeah, it is.
I
is.
love Tiger Woods.
Oh, Tiger Woods. I've met him once. So. Oh, it's it's things like this. It's films like this that they're quite sobering for me to watch, and I can't help but think back in my life and go, oh, do I act like that? Have I ever acted like this? And I start to really get down on myself and think, oh, you're a horrible person. How could you have spoken to people like this? And I think, wait, I didn't speak to anyone. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's films like this that just make me, realize not to be stupidly ignorant and be conscious of any little ways that microaggressions can be perceived, or to not. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's just
I do. Yeah, like this movie really
I become super
tests
self-conscious.
Like it tests your unconscious biases in such a professional manner, and especially one way which I was gonna leave until what about when, but like I've got to put it in here.
Do it.
And it's the moment at the very, very end of the film where Chris is choking Rose and about to kill her. She's about to die, and then you see the lights of the police car turn up, and it's this black guy on top of a white woman, and he's got blood all over him, and she's dying, and she's yelling out help, and he gets up and puts his hands in the air, and you're like, I don't know about you, but I mean, I was completely suckered in by it. Like, Jordan Peele, well done. Like, you got me. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna get arrested. This is like, there's no way out of this for him as an African American man in the United States, in this situation, in that area of the world, in that sort of neighborhood. He's gone. And then just having the door open and it being Rod
Airport
was just like, oh, it was just that breath of fresh air that you needed.
That was very cool.
Yeah,
that was very cool. I mean, two different interactions, right, with authorities at the end when you're really freaking out, and then the one at the very beginning where they get pulled over by the cops too. Anyway, more foreshadowing.
Yes,
when that comes, right?
Yes,
because I know you've got something about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Rose was just unbelievable character, and she was the one out of all the family that had the total switch. The others were kind of just playing along, and you could tell their slyness with the way they were talking. They just oozed a bit of creepy, especially the brother. Yeah, well,
the brother is the only one that doesn't change. I think we should talk about him next, Jeremy. But everyone else kind of has two separate personalities, like especially Rose. But even the parents do as well, like the way they're joking and stuff with him, and then cut to dad over the fireplace. Chris, what's your purpose? Like, that's him. Like, that's actually him. He's that disgusting, racist, horrible man. And same with the mum as well. Like, she's this psycho person, but she comes off as so lovable. And when they first meet, but that's not her. It's all just an act. But
I don't know. I reckon that is her. I reckon it is her because her role is to gain trust so that she can put her subjects under hypnosis. So I think that's part of her. She's fully lying anyway. No,
it's a manipulation. That's not who she is.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd say the only person who is genuinely who they are, who doesn't change, is Jeremy, the brother.
Yeah.
Take another drink, because in the director's commentary for Get Out with Jordan Peele, he talks about how Jeremy is kind of he feels that Jeremy is the one who kind of rebels against this system the most, where he's the most against it. He kind of sees the wrong in it, but has obviously been fostered and groomed into this monster that he just goes along with it. But that's why he kind of constantly pushes the boundaries of it. So that's why when he's at the dinner table and he pushes a little bit too hard, and and so he doesn't change as a character. Like, he is who he is at the start as he is in the end. That's just him, and that's why his mum has to kind of keep him in check and be like, you need to calm down because you're going to give it away. And also, Jordan Peele thinks that Jeremy wants Chris's body. So next time you watch it, have that in your mind when you're watching that scene, because I watched it again today with that in my mind.
At the dinner table?
And yeah, you can see him, and he's staring at him like he wants it. And
that's the scene you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
at the dinner
and
table.
it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
Whoa. Wow, that's another... Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah, all right.
He
just played Psycho so well, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so hateable.
And so Caleb was the initial kidnapper, right, in that white sports car.
Well, they're both...
Did I say Caleb? Caleb is the actor. Jeremy.
Caleb's the actor, Jeremy. Yeah, so they're both kidnappers. Like they just have different methods of doing it. In fact,
that's right.
It's mentioned in the Coagula video or after the Coagula video.
I would much rather the Rose method. Thank you very much.
I mean,
I'm happily married.
Either.
But if I had to choose one, and I knew that I was not going to, I can't believe that they're just like, yeah, you guys go. We just need a body. However you want to do it, go nuts.
Yeah.
Rose's method takes a couple of months.
Yeah.
She's in it for the long play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the lucky ones. I hear Jeremy's methods are not so nice.
Yeah. That was a little aha moment. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. The kids are the fisher people.
Yeah.
Go get our next victim.
Yeah, it's so gross. But no, another great character. Jeremy is again so well realized and so well performed. Caleb just is so vile. Everything he says is just disgusting, and all of his actions are even worse. Yeah, he very much deserves to get a bocce ball smacked into his skull.
How did he come back from that? He was full bleeding a flood of blood from his skull to come back and start running around again.
Human beings are resilient, I guess.
One of those things.
Just the stubbornness of privilege, I guess.
Yeah. Let's do it. White privilege.
Yeah.
Let's say
literally.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Kate. All right. So we've... Okay, well, what about the parents? Let's do them two in one.
We'll bundle...
Just real quick.
We're so in sync today. Let's bundle the parents in together. So yeah, it's so hard for me to watch Bradley Whitford be this disgusting because I love him. I think he's so wonderful, and The West Wing is just one of the best shows that's ever been made, and he's so good in that.
I totally agree, is what I would say if I've ever seen The West Wing.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. What else is he in?
Get Out.
I just see now I have to click on his IMDb profile and see that he's in The West Wing.
Yeah, they've got such a
and a few other things.
Like the dynamic
he's in Brooklyn
between
Nine-Nine.
them.
He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Is he?
Yeah. He's Peralta's dad.
Oh, he is too, the deadbeat dad, the pilot. Oh, I completely forgot.
Yep.
There we
go. That's
why
I really like him.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, he's really likable, and I think that's why he was such a good choice.
Yeah.
Same with Catherine Keener. They're both really lovable and really relatable, and yeah, you could see them as your own parents. It's nearly a staged thing when they walk into the house and they walk into that living room area, and she sits. What's the mother's name? Missy. So it's Missy and Dean, and Missy sits in that big armchair, and Dean stands next to her with his arm. It's like, are you posing for a family
like
portrait?
A portrait?
Yeah. This is we're a good, progressive American, modern American family, cracking all the jokes. Yeah. No, it's very cool how they.
It was quite a risk, I'd say, for them to take on these roles, because, like, if this isn't done right, like this is not a good thing to have on your career history. You know, come and play the most vile, racist, white privileged people in this, genre film about, with metaphors towards, slavery and, prison for black men in America. Like, it's just...
And white supremacy and ethnic cleansing.
Like, it's... Like, there is versions of this film in not the right hands, both writing and directing, where it's just a really horrible mess for some of these actors. So yeah, like the risk that they took on board and the trust that they must have had in Jordan Peele must have been huge, because it's so good and they're perfectly vile. And again, the writing and the history of these characters is so well lived in. Like you can almost feel the backstory all the way through to their parents, where he's telling the story about how his dad lost the race to Jesse Owens on the world stage, and how he never really got over it. And you're like, okay, well, that was probably the seed that was planted for this family's hatred for black people, and it's a reason why they've chosen them.
Because it was done in front of Hitler. They were probably already white supremacists, and it was the opportunity of a lifetime to perform in front of his idol, but he got beaten by the common enemy. Yeah,
it could have very well have been. Yeah, for me, it's just that his father sees this specimen, for lack of a better word, as a higher being. And so, like, we just need to use this as a tool to just advance our own systems. Like, your body and our minds, like, it's unstoppable. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it sounds so weird. It's like, can't we just do that without having to kill each other and maim each other's brains? Just how about we just talk? Like, let's work together.
Yeah, but like it all narratively just so makes sense that these characters are like the way that they are. Like there's just those little moments that are put in there that tell you just enough that you can fill in the blanks yourself. And that's what makes it so good. And that's what makes the characters so incredible.
And he's a neurosurgeon. She's a psychiatrist. Yep. So they both have incredible knowledge and ability to control the brain.
Yeah, working
so
together.
Satisfying.
Yeah, it's incredible.
What a team.
We cannot leave talking about the characters without talking about the best character in the entire film, which is Rod.
Rod. All right, Rod. T.S. mother A. I'm going to beep it out.
I can't believe you said it. I've got to do one now. I'll do one at the end. Yeah, I'll do the quote in the car at the end.
I had to beep it out. My daughter listens to this sometimes.
I don't know if she'll watch this one.
No, she won't watch it, but she just puts it on. What are you listening to? She goes, you're talking about a movie called The Shining. I'm like, turn it off.
It's Alien.
Alien.
Or A Quiet Place.
I had to say it. I had to say that. He was very cool. He was like the voice. I was going to say the voice of reason. Maybe not really the voice of reason, but he was the viewer.
His conspiracy theories. Yeah,
and when he goes to the cops as well,
that's such a fun scene. That's such a good scene.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I think you were gonna. You had more to say about it.
No, I'm just singing the praises of this character and this performance. Yeah, Lil Rel Howery is just so good in this role. Like. Apparently he crushed his audition, so he was obviously going to get the role as soon as he walked in, and he got to do a lot of improvising and stuff on the day. And I can just imagine having like Jordan Peele with his comedy background, like with like a comedian of this talent just working together, and you can tell they only shot together for like 2 days. All of his scenes were shot in 2 days.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so cool. They just got them all, like, they just banged them out. So, like, imagine how fun those 2 days would have been for both of those guys.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
That's a cool little role to have. I mean, he plays super worried, and he saves the day. So, absolute hero.
But he's such a good friend to Chris. Like, he's always wanting to make him laugh, like keep him entertained. That's why he keeps spinning these conspiracy theories. And I love that little backstory to him where, you know, he does just say these random things, and it turns out that one of the random things that he spouts is like half right. It's so perfect when he's like, oh, I bet the mums hypnotize him and just turn them into sex slaves. And then when he realizes he's right, he's like, yeah, I told you. Well, realizes he's right when he's realizing that there's no other explanation. It must be.
Yeah,
And
that's
just him-
awesome.
It's all worth it for him at the end when he picks him up and Chris is like covered in his girlfriend's blood and he's in the car and they're just like, we have a moment to breathe, and he's just like, I told you not to go into that house.
Yeah, come on, man, just go calm on him. Come on, he has seen some bad stuff. Just chill.
Also,
it's not an I told you so moment.
yeah. Also, the line, that's Jeffrey Dahmer business, is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, it actually made me want to look into Jeffrey Dahmer. I know there's a movie made about his life, and I'm thinking I might need to see it. Of course, I know the name. Again, another American serial killer, right? So it's not too much
terrible person
in the history of what I know. But no, it's not a nice name. But that was an awesome scene. I love how when we were talking before about Rose switching to Roro, and he's on the phone to Roro, how he's like, "Oh, I got to record this."
Oh,
and
you liar.
she kind of and she picks up on the fact that, all right, we're going to turn this on him. Yeah, I love how he picked up on that too. Yeah. That was so awesome.
Oh, you're a genius. She's a genius.
You're a genius. Yes. I do like, though, that he was always trying to help him. He was always trying to help.
Loyalty.
And he did what he could to help. You know, he's ringing. He's going, I'm going to record. I'm going to go to the cops. I'm going to tell them. And then you think, don't do this at the cops. Don't do it like this. Don't do it like this. They're going to laugh at you. Oh, they're taking him seriously. No. Okay. They're laughing at you.
Yeah, I just love that when he's in there and he's like, my boy went missing. My boy Chris went missing 2 days ago. It's like, your son is missing. It's like, oh no, he's not my son. He's 26.
26. This is his dog. Yeah, that's
cute, right?
Yeah, he was very cool.
By
TSA.
far and away the best kid. TSA, yeah. We handle shit.
I consider your shit handled. That was good. You never. His lines just keep coming. At the end.
So great, so quotable.
All right, that was nice.
We'll shift out of characters.
Yeah.
We'll dot in there, like there's the grandparents and stuff in there as well, which is super cool, and like Andre Hayworth or Logan as he is at the party, as well as Jim Henson, who's the gallery owner, art critic, like the blind art critic. There's so many cool people in this film and amazing performers, but time permitting, we're gonna shift on down.
Yeah, let's do it.
I would love to talk about the foreshadowing. Love to get into some foreshadowing moments, because if you've only seen the film once and you're here listening to us now, like I can't wait for you to watch this again, because these are just some of the moments. And if I miss any, Terrence, please feel free to jump in. Like these are some of the moments that I wrote down that would just like, when you watch the film a second time, it just blows your mind.
You pick up on all these things.
And it's like right from the off. So like as soon as the movie starts, like Andre walking through like that area, and he's on the phone to some woman. I don't think that it's Rose, but it might be.
I do. We see the photo of them together later on.
Do we?
Yeah, he's one of the photos.
I tried to find him in one of the photos. I didn't think I could see it.
I'm pretty sure it's the very first photo that you see.
Really?
Yeah, because he's got some growth. He's got a bit of...
I'll have to go... Oh, poor me. I'll have to go and watch it again.
Nah, shucks.
But when he says, I'm just walking around this creepy-ass suburb. And the way that he says suburb is that stereotypical white way. So he's like saying it with a white voice, whereas later he actually has a white voice. Like the first time we see Chris, it's him putting shaving cream on his face. So he's literally got white on his face, like he's covering his skin with white. The first time we kind of hear Rose speak, she's got the dog and she's like, "Oh, I've got to go and pry something out of your father." Puts the dog down.
Like prying out? Is that what you mean?
Prying out his brain, literally. And this is just in the first 5 minutes of the film. So they just go on and on. The father saying it's such a privilege to experience another people's culture. Where he's doing the tour of the house and he picks up, these are from Bali, puts them down. It's such a privilege to be able to experience other people's cultures. Oh, it's so disgusting the second time. Like he talks about the black mold in the basement. That's why you can't go down there.
I felt that one. Like when he said that, I felt it. I kind of shuddered on. Oh, just
Yeah.
punch him.
My mother loved her kitchen, and we move around, and there's, boom, mum standing there in the kitchen. That was like a reference to The Shining, of just like the twins in The Shining, who just like, there's nothing creepier than just moving around a corner and just having someone staring at you, waiting, like patiently waiting for you. So that was his nod to that. There are Shining references all throughout this film, from like the opening title cards being the same color as the Shining titles, and the hedge when Andre's walking through that suburb. He walks past a hedge, which is a reference to The Shining as well. Yeah, they're everywhere. The Shining references all over the place.
You know, in that first scene, I just want to jump in as well. That very first scene was incredible. The jump scare that you get, I think, was heightened by the fact that it was all done in one shot.
Yeah,
and
really
when
clever.
you get one shot, you don't really get much scope for things being set up. You know, no cuts where someone comes out from the other side of the camera. That was just great. And I think what made it more of a scare to me was when the camera pulls back around, when Andre decides to cross the road, the car door is open. Now, I realized why it freaked me out more than probably some of our American friends. We drive on the other side of the road. And when I saw the car door open, in Australia, that would be the passenger side door.
It would too, yeah.
So I actually thought, there's someone else that was in the car that got out of the car, or that just opened the door. I actually thought the passenger was in the car and they were like inviting him in. And I thought, someone's going to call out from the car.
And so whilst you were analysing all of this, bang, Jeremy runs out with
not
the helmet
realizing,
on.
we're on the other side of the street. And more foreshadowing, Run, Rabbit, Run.
Yeah.
The song that is playing, that uber creepy song.
Yeah, horrible.
Anyway.
I'll just do a couple more.
Going. Yeah.
All of the party guests arrive in black vehicles. Very clever one.
Yeah, I think that was more just because they were there for a funeral of one of their
No, it was
fellow
a very specific.
people.
It was a very specific directorial choice that all of these white people arrived in black vehicles.
in a black chassis.
Yeah.
Phooey.
Okay. When Logan at the party, or Andre, or Logan at the party, it looks like he's showing off his clothes to his friends. When you watch the movie a second time, he's literally showing off his new black body.
You know, that was that was disgusting.
Awful. Yeah,
and watching it the first time and not realizing the depth of what he was showing off.
Yes,
that was another one that made me feel sick. That was almost like I can't picture a film, but I can imagine, you know, when someone buys livestock, they go up and look under the gums and check. And I feel that that's a thing that happened with slavery, that people would go up and check check that they had all their teeth, all this kind of thing. I'm thinking, this is wrong.
Yeah. Well, like everything that the party, I've just written everything that the guests say at the party, where they're talking about show me your golf swing, like feeling his arms and saying, you know, white has been in fashion for the last couple of 100 years, you know. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, what does he say? Black's in fashion, or black is cool.
Yeah, it's so gross. So all of that, and there's more. There are so many things, like getting. I don't want to get chased off your lawn with a shotgun. You know, another piece of great foreshadowing where she literally chases him out off the property with a rifle.
Yeah,
at the end. Yeah, it's just it's everywhere.
Like I've got a couple. They hit the deer. Okay, so they hit the deer, and it's not that they hit the deer, but it's that the deer is left on the side of the road, still alive.
All the mum
his
stuff.
mother was left on the side of the road, and the guilt he carries is because she was left there all along until she died for hours. And I thought this was also foreshadowing the whole situation he's in. He is taken hostage, but if anyone knew where he was, they would come and help him. It was that no one knew, and no one seemingly cared that he was there. He didn't have anyone except for his best mate, except for TSA. So that was a very similar situation that happened there with the deer and his mother.
Yeah, all of it culminating in when he hits Grandma in the car.
Oh, and that's the driving force behind him.
Yeah, sees her in the room, and he's just like, "Just leave, Chris. Just leave, leave." And then you see her in the car. And did you see the big scar on her head?
Yes.
When the wig had fallen back. That's why
Turns her
everyone.
head.
That's why they all wear
That's why
hats
they wear
or
wigs.
wigs. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, hats and wigs. What about Walter's sprint?
Oh. Now we're getting into what about when's now.
But that was a great one as well. You know, he's sprinting, and it was his exercise because he's the grandfather who was the sprinter.
He's trying to beat Jesse Owens' time.
Yeah. You know what I thought of when I watched that? Totally not unrelated, but have you ever seen Monty Python's Holy Grail?
Yeah.
The Holy Grail, where he's running from the distance. I think it's Lancelot, and the guards are at the castle just looking. They see him in there. Yeah, he's real small. They cut back to him, and he's running in the distance.
He's just all
They're still looking, and all of a sudden he's there and swords them in the chest. Swords them. Yeah, that's what I thought as soon as you see him. That was super cool. Oh, and how the grandmother is looking in the reflection of the mirror.
Yeah,
the reflection of the glass inside. She's checking herself out. So what is she doing? She's admiring her new body.
Yep.
Right. Whoa! So many of these creepy ways that Walter talks.
Oh.
And how what would we call the taken people? I don't know, those that have been lobotomized or
The enslaved?
do we call them oh man.
Well,
So let's say those enslaved poor souls, they all speak very old worldly because they're all old people.
they are.
They're just talking normal for them.
Yeah.
That was one that I thought was really
Yeah.
really
And like
weird throughout.
another testament to all of those performers as well.
Oh yeah.
Like so well done. Just the cadence of their speech and just like the perfect amount of creepy. The scene that you were talking about before, where Georgina comes and talks to Chris about having accidentally unplugged his phone, and rather than meddling with it further, I thought I'd rather just leave it. It's the way that she speaks, and then just coming forward, and you can see like Georgina like breaking through, and she stops and.
The tears.
And the tears coming down and like her taking back control and just saying no. The Armitages are so good to us. They treat us like family, and then just like runs away.
That was
Classic.
intense.
Such
That
a good
was
scene.
Intense, honestly, and to be on her that whole shot, for her to be able to cry like that.
Yeah.
That is talent on the next level.
Yeah. Excellent piece of cinematography. By, oh my goodness, can't believe it's taking me this long to mention it. Toby Oliver is the cinematographer, whose name you probably won't know off the top of your head, but he is Australian.
Yeah, cool.
And he has done such films, the DOP work for, like, Looking for Alibrandi.
Oh, Searching for Alibrandi. Was it Searching? Looking?
No, Looking.
I don't know. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen that.
Fun piece of that. Hence your nonchalant reaction to something I thought was going to blow your mind.
I think one of my English classes studied it in school. I never really did that well in school, so I didn't pay much attention to that.
Yeah, but yeah, nice
anyway.
little link to a classic piece of Australian cinema.
Well, isn't that lovely? We will own this film now as our own. This is an Aussie flick. Very cool.
Yeah, pretty much. Shot
What
by an
about
Australian.
in terms of foreshadowing, the spoon when she's in the first meeting in the backyard and she's stirring?
He
It's the first time
he starts to talk
introduced.
about his mum and just clink clink with the glass, to set the tone for it.
Oh yeah. Now I have a couple of things I've been looking at. I like the Run Rabbit Run. Yes. Oh, it's a service we provide. You know, when they're talking about the hypnotism to get rid of smoking, and the father just goes, "Yeah, it's a service we provide." Another thing in terms of foreshadowing, when you were talking about all the things that he drops as he's giving him a tour around the house, before they start the tour, when they're in there, you know, Ma and Pa sitting in the chair, he says something about the deer, and he really, I think he kind of shows a little bit much of himself there when he goes, "Oh, deer, they're just a nuisance." I say one deer is
they're a pest around here. Yeah,
he says something that you
one down, a million to go, as far as I'm concerned, or something.
As far as I'm concerned,
like that.
Yeah. Like I could take it and put that in any movie that includes the KKK, and there you go. I thought, that's a bit icky as well.
But also within the reference of, oh no, like he's just trying to make Chris feel better, being like, oh, like don't worry about it. It was just a deer. Like there's so many levels to how it can be interpreted that there's a reason why it won the Academy Award.
Yeah, they were so smart. The parents are so smart. The writer, was it just Jordan that wrote it? I mean, he has
just Jordan Peele,
just him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Incredible for him to layer it so many layers of this. It's
marvelous,
horrible subtext.
Look, if you want to get into his head a little bit, I've got a few things that I've written down from the commentary. So I feel like I can smash out a couple of these.
Go for it.
Then we can go into our What About When?
What About When's, yes.
And then add the film to the calendar. And I forgot to say at the beginning of the episode, the end of this one, we're going to announce all of the films that we're going to do for November. And there is some amazing pieces of cinema there that I can't wait to talk about. So we've organised it beforehand for once, surprisingly. So we'll get to those. But yeah, we might throw a time code down in here. Director's commentary with Lee, or whatever we'll put it as. So some of the things that I learned that I couldn't learn from the context of just the film. The helmet that Jeremy wears when he kidnaps the unsuspecting victims.
Yeah, we see it in the car.
And we see it in the car a little bit later. That's actually a Templar relic, like a Knights of the Templar relic. Okay. And it's because the organization that is responsible for this coagular procedure, this family, they are descendants from the Knights Templar in the canon of this film. And all of the people at the party, they're all members of this organization that are descendants from the Knights Templar as well. They've got a new name now. They call themselves the Red Alchemist Society.
Oh, okay.
And when they were bidding at that auction for Chris, it wasn't like dollar. I know, another incredible. I've just spoiled another one of my What About Whens. When the bingo tournament turns into it's an auction.
An auction, yeah.
The numbers that he's kind of holding up are not really significant dollar value things. It's kind of, they're dealing in Templar antiquities, essentially, because they've been collecting relics and antiquities for thousands of years, going back to the Knights Templar were all about trying to seek immortality by finding the Holy Grail, and they believe that they found the Holy Grail with this coagular procedure.
Oh, I knew I had to reference the Holy Grail film in this. I'm glad I did.
You
See,
did.
I'm
You
more
didn't even
onto
know.
it than you are.
Yeah.
I did.
No, you are.
I probably did. I'm pretty sure I knew.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I thought that was super interesting.
And what about the name Coagula?
I couldn't figure out anything to do with that, but I also didn't look, so I don't know.
The only thing I could think, and I tried to look very briefly, my look was a Google search and look at the first results, and then I couldn't come up with it, except for anything that did come up was a reference to Get Out.
To Get Out, yeah.
But I think, if all I know of that word is when I went on camps as a kid and they told us about leeches, and when a leech latches onto your skin, they will bite your skin to break the surface, and they drink your blood. They feed on your blood. And the only reason that the blood doesn't harden and create a crust, am I saying that right? Is because the leech will actually secrete an anticoagulant, which stops your blood from congealing.
Yeah,
and
coagulating.
So it stops it from coagulating. Yeah. So this is the coagulate, which is, and that was as far as I went. What's
Who
the?
knows? Yeah,
because it's nothing about moving freely and mixing. It's like,
I'm sure
I'm
that
so
there's
close to it.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a medical reason as to why they call it that, because it's the family that calls it the coagula.
Yeah.
No idea. It's just a cool sounding name as well, so we can just go with that.
Yeah, there's a reason. Leave a comment below. There we go. Let's use our comments
you know what it is,
on these platforms.
Drop it in. Send us an email, or tweet at us or hit us up on Instagram. We're at the Movie Cal everywhere. And all of those are in the links in the description below. But I thought that was really interesting. I also found out that Missy and Georgina hate each other.
Missy and Georgina.
The mum
Missy
and the
is
grandma.
the mother. Georgina is the grandma. Okay.
Because it's that kind of stereotypical mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship.
Right.
And whilst
She has power
Georgina
over
is in that body, and they have a guest who's a lamb to the slaughter, Missy is the one who is in control, and Georgina hates it. She hates not being the matriarch, and so she gets to flex. And if you watch it, like the scene where they're having that kind of brunch, and she's
pouring
like,
the tea,
Georgina,
yeah.
you should go and have a lie down. You look tired. And she's just like, you little bitch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they've also got to keep the grandparents really separate during the ruse because they're just terrible performers. And if Chris or any of the other unsuspecting people talk to them, they're just going to give away the game. So they've just got to be like, go and chop your wood, go in your bedroom and look in the mirror, because like if you break this, we're not going to be able to get these people. So just stay away. And the grandparents hate it. They hate the fact they're like, no, we can do this. We're really good at doing this old ruse thing.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense, because right at the end they come alive, don't they?
Yeah.
Come alive? Yeah. Is that right? Wow. Oh, this is so good. I'm going to enjoy watching it another time.
I know. I'll do a couple more. Everybody's sunken place is different.
What do you mean?
Because it is a construct of their mind. So Missy is the instigator to get you in there. But once you're trapped down there, your mind and subconscious fills it with whatever is in there already. So for Chris, it was an empty room just looking at that screen, like when he was a kid and he was just looking at the screen when he should have been doing something when his mum died.
Yeah.
So
and
that was his trap.
Paralyzed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everyone's sunken place is different. I thought that was really interesting. And this is something that was mentioned in the commentary that you could figure out on your own, because it's within the context of and the subject matter of the film entirely. But I thought I'd write it down and read it out anyway. And it's the sunken place is a metaphor for the American prison system and how young black men are just taken into a hole and forgotten about forever. And the coagular procedure is the equivalent of slavery or enslavement.
Yeah.
And how much of it is an epidemic.
Had half of that.
Yeah.
Oh man, the prison system. Yeah. Absolutely. How terrifying. Hey.
Literally put away into a hole into the back of your mind so that you don't think about it ever again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, the imagery he used in this, I guess that the Aussie guy would have had a hand in as well, to create this feeling of helplessness. And to muffle the screams like that, and to use these really low tones, that boom sound.
Yeah. Oh, when Missy first says, fall into the floor.
Sink into the floor.
Goes,
Sink into the floor.
Sink. And the bass drops and he just...
man. And he panics. He's like, wait. Sink.
Yeah. Terrifying.
That coming soon in a What About When? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good lean in. Sorry, did you have something to say, or should we go into our What About When?
Yeah, no, I had a couple of other little observations.
All right,
and then
please.
Yes, I know. Then we'll go to What About When. I love that this film only really has 3 pieces of music, apart from the score. Okay, that is music as well. But there were a few, there were music accents given throughout the whole thing, and the boom, sink into the floor. But the opening music was this haunting kind of stringed instrument where you hear a voice just kind of chanting brother, and then Sikalika, I think. I don't know if it's another language or if
I've
it's
seen it written down.
word.
I don't have it here.
Yeah, it's pretty haunting. That was nice. But the 3 songs that were used, and I couldn't hear anymore, and I saw it credited, were Redbone, Childish Gambino, and Run Rabbit Run, and then Time of My Life. That was the Dirty Dancing song,
It's
which
when
is what
she's
she's
eating
listening to when
is
Roro is eating her Fruit Loops, because she's a bit of a Fruit Loop. The way she's eating them.
Separately in a bowl from a glass of milk.
What
Which is
colour is
just-
the milk?
Well, the milk is white.
Separating the white from the colours.
Yeah.
I was just...
It's nuts. Nothing is wasted in this film. And also, if you want to find out if someone is a sociopath, watch how they eat their cereal, because that is how a sociopath would eat their cereal.
Yeah, go visit them in the morning.
I can go one level deeper on that one as well. She's also using a black straw in her milk, so the only black apparatus that she's using as a tool.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Did you know that Run Rabbit Run song I've heard once before? And many Australians would have heard it once before. I think back in 2014. It was used by Tourism Victoria. That's right, it was used in a tourism campaign where this song was playing over the top of a couple that were spending a nice weekend away in a bed and breakfast in some vineyard. And it's time for them to leave. So a butler comes to the door to help them with their bags. And they decide they don't want to leave so badly that they run away from the butler. And this song is playing as they're running through vineyards and, you know, they're showcasing some of country Victoria. But the butler turns all creepy and does these eyes and starts singing Run Rabbit Run as he's trotting through the vineyards, chasing them.
No thanks.
It is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. And then to see it again in this film, I'm like, that's more like it. Now we're being truthful to what that song means.
Get out.
Instead
Get
of
out.
cycling around it. Get out. That's what it was. And the butler at the end of this ad campaign, go watch it. If you can find it on YouTube, just type
God,
Run
I don't
Rabbit
want to.
Run Victoria. Type it. Run Rabbit Run Victoria. That's the state in Australia that it was played for. And you will see this 1 minute commercial. And at the end, the butler just puts their suitcases in a room full of other suitcases.
They could do another ad campaign with that same song at the moment for Victoria, because everyone wants to get out of Victoria.
Yes. Anyway, I thought that was really cool that only those three songs were used.
Topical
I don't
reference that'll only be valid for a little while, so enjoy it while it lasts. People will be watching this
Everyone's-
years in the future and be going, what is he talking about?
It'll be in the history books. They'll know.
Yeah. Mark your calendars.
I got a feeling of this film being a cross between... and now, I haven't seen the movie, but I can only imagine Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I saw a trailer of it, which Jeff Goldblum is actually in, where, you know, a bacteria virus comes in and takes over people's bodies and they're a shell of themselves.
The pod people.
That, and Being John Malkovich, which also has Catherine Keener in it. I just saw all the... And there's so many other films with body takeovers that would be kind of cool. It was just really cool.
Yeah, Jordan Peele said that there's a lot of influences from, I mean, obviously The Shining, the Stepford Wives was a big one as well. Influences, but no, he's pulled from everywhere. He's such a movie lover, a film lover, and you can tell like he's got such a command over the entire project. It's so good. Like, if you've made it this far and you haven't seen it, I'm so sorry.
It's your own fault.
Also, you would have no idea as to what we're talking about. Like, oh, when Grandpa is like running, and they'll be like, "What? This doesn't.
Yeah.
This sounds stupid."
The Holy Grail, Roro, the TSA. What?
TSA, so good.
All right.
Well, Terence, with your permission,
Let's do it.
awesome.
Permission
So we're going to
granted.
jump. We're going to jump straight into our segment #What About When for Jordan Peele's Get Out, episode 21. If you want to contribute to this, the best ways to do it are on Twitter and Instagram. We are at the Movie Cal. Send us an email if you like as well. We are. Oh, I just knocked my microphone. themoviecal@gmail.com. All of this is on our website, themoviecalendar.com. It's linked in the description below. If you can see the microphone in my shot this week, it's because I've got I'm kitting a new setup with a proper pop filter on it to stop all of the what are they called?
Plosives?
The plosives. I noticed a couple of plosives recently, and I didn't like it, so I've got the pop filter.
The reason I'm laughing is because we spoke about it before, and it's all nice, and whenever you get new equipment, it's all exciting. So Lee's like, good, I've got a pop filter, stop the plosives, excellent, and then you go and hit it.
Yeah.
No pop filter will...
completely defeating the purpose of it.
Sorry, that's just me finding the funny and silly things.
That's fine. We're here
So
to have
what
fun.
about when?
Yes, I've got a few.
All right.
I didn't receive any on Twitter this week. Have you got some from Instagram?
I do. I have 2 from Instagram from the same person who is a follower. So if you would like, you could follow us. And when I say follower, I mean a follower in the sense of social media, not it. I don't know this person too well, so it's just okay. Keep going.
Don't follow me in real life.
Let's go. This person has left 2 comments, 2 different what about whens. And Angier
Sounds good.
Angier says, sorry. Angier says, what about when white people objectifying people of color is such a common occurrence that you don't suspect anything odd happening at the party until you see it happening? Societal commentary at its best.
Yes, agreed.
Absolutely. Yeah, a scary what about when that one. Okay, and then Angier has another. Well, am I saying that right? Angier has
Sure.
another what about. I'll put it on the screen. You'll be able to see. I apologize again.
Hang on.
Also, what about when?
You're saying it right. Yeah.
Also, what about when Rod was the MVP of the whole film?
Preach. Yeah, he is. He's so good. Rod Williams. I mean, I'm from the TSC, so I kind of get the same training as what you do. So in a way we get more because we're dealing with terrorists.
That's so even better than you. I love that. Wrong thing to say, mate. Wrong thing to say. So they were what we have off the gram. Oh, you know what? As I'm talking, there's actually some more comments that have come in. Let's see.
Oh, really?
No more comments. Just a couple of likes.
Oh, boo.
Thank you for liking.
No, give us the likes. They're good, thank
comment.
you. But boo, give us some comments.
All right. Do you have some? What about? Do you have some? I've got a handful. You'd have a handful.
I mean, I've spoiled pretty much all of them in the full episode. But
Say 'em.
I've got them here now. So, okay. What about when Chris?
One?
Yeah. What about when Chris goes up the stairs at the party and all of the guests just go silent and stare up at him? It's so creepy.
What was that about?
It's gross.
Why would you do that? I'd still keep talking. I'd be like, that's when you can talk about him. Oh, good,
It was
he's
actually
upstairs now.
It was based off of a nightmare that Jordan Peele had one day, and he woke up and wrote it down. Where he was walking through like a busy like airport terminal or something, and everyone was kind of talking. And then he like walked around the corner, and everything went silent. And he turned around, and everyone was just staring at him. And he woke up and was like, "That was creepy. I have to write that down." And so he used it.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the film.
That's the busting through the saloon doors, and the person playing the thing, and everyone turns and looks. Wow. Okay. My first. What about when? The opening scene is an absolute what about when he gets nabbed. But here we go. What about when Walter is running towards Chris?
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And the music. Yeah.
Man. And Chris doesn't move. He's stunned.
No, he's in shock.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And he's getting closer.
Yeah.
Oh, that freaked me.
I'm so sorry if I scared you with my exercise last night.
Yeah, you did, Grandpa.
It's like, this is even scarier now. Stop talking.
Yeah. Shut up, you creepy guy.
What about when Logan gets the photo taken of him and the flash turns him back into Andre?
Oh, man. We didn't even talk about that yet. Absolutely.
Yeah. And he finally gets to like come out and say what he's probably been screaming from in his sunken place the whole time. Get out! Get out! Get out!
He's had a moment to realize, I'm in control.
Yeah.
I'm in control. Use the time wisely. Quick. Wow. That was uncanny. Another thing with the photography. I'm sure there's something there with a flash and a reality, or I don't know. Look into it. I don't know. Okay, I've got to say this one. What about when Sink? Like, what about when
we go
he
into
gets
the sunken
hypnotized?
place?
Go in the sunken place. Just that when he falls in there, the image of Chris just falling, and I mean, you say it's different for everyone. I wonder. I'm guessing in hypnotism and in psychotherapy and all that kind of stuff that's true. It's the world is made up of your own manifestation. So that was just beautiful, and that really wide shot, and you get an idea of how
gorgeous,
how helpless he is.
Yeah, how vast that space is in his mind.
Man,
and that there is no escape.
He gives up to it, right? He pauses, and he's just floating there.
Yeah,
and your heart drops, and the way that they use the sound in that was an incredible.
Yeah.
What about when for me?
Really gives you the feeling of like and Jordan Peele says it, where it's like, you know, that feeling when you're about to fall asleep and you catch yourself, where you do that kind of like drop. He's like, imagine if you did that but you didn't catch yourself, like what would happen? Like how would it feel if you just continued to fall? Like that's what the sunken place feels like.
And then Missy just sticks her head in front of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Closes his eyes. Yeah.
What a bitch.
Now you're in the sunken place.
Yeah, that's what she calls it.
Yeah.
Right.
What about when Bingo turns into an auction?
And the camera pulls out?
Yeah, like that's the moment. That is the moment where you're like, because like things have been odd, and it's a genre horror thriller film, so you know something is happening, but like that is the moment where you're just like, what are they gonna do when they buy him? Like what is happening? I have so many questions, and it's just like even just the seeing of it is just so disturbing. It's so effective.
It's so creepy. They're holding bingo cards and in silence.
Yeah.
In total silence.
Yeah.
This is a double what about when. What about when Roro comes out onto the porch? We don't really say porch here in Australia, right? Comes out onto the front veranda, and sees that her grandma got hit, and she screams, "Grandma!" That's the first time we realize, it's her. And then the double end of this is when she catches up with Chris out on the street, and she's got the shotgun, and Grandpa runs past, and she goes,
"Get him, Grandpa!
Get him, Grandpa!" I love when things like that come together. They gave us closure on that very nicely. That was a really good way of doing it.
Yeah,
you look like Mose from The
amazing.
Office the way you ran.
Yeah, and that literally goes perfectly into my last what about when, which I've already mentioned it again in the full episode, is hashtag what about when Chris is strangling Roro, and she smirks because she's just out crazying him at that point. And then he stops being like, I'm not going to give in to this animal instinct. Like, and then then the lights, the police
sirens.
lights, turn up, and you think exactly what the movie wants you to think, where there's an African American man on top of a bloodied white woman, and he's just strangling her. And the sirens are there, and he stands up and puts his hands up, and you think, that's it. This guy is a goner. And then let's going to subvert your expectations here, and it's actually Rod here to save the day. Oh God, the sigh of relief that I had was so good.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was your last one. I got like two more. What about when Rose turns into Roro on the stairs? The keys, we mentioned it, and the way she holds up those keys and goes, I can't give these to you, babe. Oh, the way she switches character, that got me, because I was thinking, as she's fumbling for the keys, I'm like, okay, this isn't right. The second time, I'm like, you can nearly hear the keys clinking around. I think that was done on purpose, and I thought, this is not right. And then when she changes like that, and Chris's expression, it is instant, and it hits you nearly as hard as it hits Chris. I think Jordan right on the money with this one. That was just unbelievable, because you expect her to faff around a bit and go, ha ha ha, sorry.
No, like she's selling it. She's really selling it. Like there's that she's in on it, obviously, but like there's like, is she hypnotized? Like, is she being manipulated against her own will? Like, where is it? And then it's all just, that was the last hope is gone. You are on your own.
That was, that was just gobsmacking.
Right, last one.
Oh my goodness, I can't even see it now. I had it. Oh yeah, I mentioned it, but I have to do it again. I had such fun doing it. Is who got MVP? What's his character's name? Rod.
Rod Williams.
He's in the car. He gets him at the end. And we mentioned before, how'd you find me? I gotta read it. I'm TS mother A. We handle shit. That's what I do. Consider your situation handled.
Yeah.
I'm going to beep all that out. But that was a great line. I loved it. I love how he's not perturbed by the scene in front of him. There's dead bodies on the ground.
No, he knew.
He's like, yeah, this is the
whole time.
sex slave brain control thing.
Yeah. All of these people making sex slaves out of my brothers and sisters. Yeah. Not a chance.
Totally not. And one bit I did like is when Walter grabs the gun, he goes, let me. And he goes to shoot Rose, and then does himself.
I tell you what, I've never cheered so much watching someone get shot in a film when Rose got shot through the stomach. I was so happy.
I felt happier for Walter, for that guy. I was like, what are you going to do now? You're going to go to jail. And you've got this grandpa in your head. Yeah. Good solution. Good solution.
Horrible.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's the only way out. Oh, man. Okay, look, there are so many things that we would have missed. So many things I missed. And after every film that we do, Lee, we talk like for a few minutes after we record, make sure the recording went well. And I'm like, oh, man, I forgot this.
Yeah, so many things.
Comment below if you've got more to say about it, or wherever you comment these days. I love watching YouTube videos and people point to the side and they go, comment above. Oh. There's no above. No, just comment wherever the video lets you comment.
So many other references to other films that we didn't get to that I had, but that's all fine. We'll leave that for another time.
Let's get to the
to the main event. We're going to now add the film to the movie calendar, and then we're going to announce next month's lot of films for November 2020. Mm-hmm. Oh, November! Wow, that's insane. But for now, the main event, the moment we've all been waiting for, putting Get Out on the movie calendar. The date that we have chosen for this film to be watched every year is going to be January 21st.
Wiley.
I'm glad you asked. That's a good question. I scoured the internet trying to find date references for this film. Like, when is it set? What are some of the characters' birthdays or something like that. Couldn't find anything. It's all very ambiguous, this movie. However, there is a moment in the film where a date is shown. Now, the date isn't on a calendar of when the movie is happening, like in Chris's apartment. It shows up when Rod is searching on Bing, of all places.
Very heavily Microsoft product placement throughout this.
Very much. He's searching for Andre Hayworth. And there's been missing 6 months. And there's an article that was written and it was last updated by its author on January 21st. So I thought this would be a fun place to put the movie. It's early in the year. Got to put some good pieces of cinema early in the year. And this will kick off the year nice and strong. And so that when you're watching the film and that scene happens, because you've got the movie calendar at home, and so you pop this on DVD, Blu-ray or streaming, and you'll be able to just go, that's the date. So yeah, that's why. I think that'd be fun.
That's cool. It's still school holidays in Australia at that time of the year. So, if kids are up late, that's all right. You can stay up even later, watch this, because you can sleep in the next day. Don't have to take them to school.
Watch it with your kids.
Yeah, don't let them listen to the podcast of the episode. Although we try and keep it clean, apart from the actual content of the film that we're talking about. But hey.
Yep. That's all right.
So, I like that date. I like that. I was thinking about all these other references, these society references that we could have done, but we can go stupid with thinking about how relevant we can make things. But I think certain films are going to be good for that. But I'm all for that January 21st. Well, look,
the goal of the calendar is for you to choose the dates, not you, Terrence, but everyone listening or everyone watching. We want you to choose the dates. So please, if you have a film that you want us to talk about, or a film that we're going to be talking about in the future, and you have a specific date in mind for that one, let us know and we'll put it on there just for you. And then when the calendar is released in however many years it takes us to finish it, there'll be a little input from you right there on the calendar, which will be super fun. So let us know. The best way through that one would be email, so that people can't see it. So then it's a surprise. So again, we are We're at The Movie Cal on Twitter and Instagram, and our email is themoviecal@gmail.com. Tell us a story as to why you think a film should go on a certain date, and we'll put it on there just for you. Oh, yeah. And then my dog has just made an appearance on the podcast for the first time this episode.
We also have the website. I'm not sure if you mentioned the website, themoviecalendar.com, and we have a running list of every episode we've done there, so you can have a little write-up and links to the podcast and the YouTube videos there too. Is Oscar lapping?
Yeah, my dog's water bowl. He's getting some water out of his water bowl. He's been asleep. It's pretty late, but he's up now. He's come over to say hello.
Aww. And it's pretty warm. Need to rehydrate in the evening.
Yeah.
All right, well, should we do...
Almost done.
Next films?
Yes, so the next block of films that we're going to do is going to be really fun. So we've got the month of November all sorted. So we're going to do 4 episodes in November, just like we did in October. And they are going to be, in this order, Point Break.
The original.
The next film. The original. Yes, no, my God. I completely forget that there is a remake. Oh, horrible.
Apparently forgettable.
Broken. Yeah, very.
Point Break was broken.
Yeah. Dog is being very loud. So yeah, Point Break. Then we're going to do Fight Club.
Yes.
So a bit of a gear change. Another gear change straight after that. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I wonder why we're doing that in mid to late November.
Well, you had to remind me. I had no idea.
It's Thanksgiving. For those who don't know, it's a Thanksgiving film. It's going to be a challenge to put the film on a date because Thanksgiving changes every year, but I think I know how we're going to do it. So make sure you tune in for that one. I think I've got an idea as to how to do it. And then the last one of my favorite childhood movies that I've probably seen probably the most I've ever seen a live action film, because I think Aladdin and Lion King are the 2 films I've probably seen the most in my entire life. Wow. Live action, The Goonies.
Yeah.
Not Steven Spielberg's The Goonies.
So looking forward to watching that. I think that one I'll watch with the kids. That'll be so cool. This is a good lineup.
There's some spookies in there, so
yeah, I'll be with them.
One-Eyed Willie and
I'll be with them.
Yeah, I can't wait. I have not watched that film since I was a very early teenager, I think. So I'm excited to give that a go. That was one that I had on VHS at my grandmother's house, and it had the ads in it still, recorded from the TV, and it was missing the first 4 or 5 minutes. So when I eventually watched it later on, the full version, I was like, I'm watching the wrong movie. This isn't how The Goonies starts. The Goonies starts when they're in the kid's house.
Oh, that's funny. The good old days of VHS. I remember watching once, and I liked the scene so much, I was taping it. It was on TV live, and I rewound to watch it again. And then by the time I finished watching that scene that I really loved, I'd missed that amount of the film I started recording again. And I was a kid. I didn't realize what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really sucked. That was really bad. But some big heavy hitters. With Keanu, Patrick Swayze, Brad Pitt, Ed Norton, John Candy, Steve Martin, Josh Brolin.
Brolin. Sean Astin.
Yeah. Sean Astin. Corey, one of the Coreys.
Feldman.
Corey Feldman. This is going to be a good month, Lee.
Yeah, good month
for watching
And then
movies.
we'll do a little bit of a teaser for those who have made it this long in, because a lot of people cut out before this bit. So this is just for you, so the people who are sticking around for now. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but December is going to be huge. So make sure that you come back for the episodes in November, because we'll be tantalizing little bits as to what December might be. We have been planning December since before we recorded our first ever episode.
It's taking everything for me not to drop some little clue right now.
It's going to be so cool. It's really looking forward to that. But yeah, looking forward to the not too distant future in November. Yeah, make sure you be here for Point Break, Fight Club, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and The Goonies.
Awesome. Well,
all right. Thank you so much, Terrence. This was a really good one. I'm happy with that. Cheers, mate. Right.
Well, see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.